So welcome. So if you're not getting what you want in life, you're not getting what you want out of life. If life just isn't going the way you want it to go, your health, your money, the love, the love you want, your happiness. Did you know that your body and your being is actually doing it for a really good reason? It's really doing something for a very good reason. Even if you're not thriving in life, even if you're not getting what you want in life. And the real reason you're not healing and living how you want to live and doing what you want to do, what do you suppose that is? I'm going to show you how your body and your being is actually doing the best it can do. And what you're seeing when you see a problem, whether it's a health concern or some other life problem, the money, the love, the relationships, what you see is that your body's doing the best it can do, and it's trying to protect you. It's doing something to protect you. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, and tell you three keys of what I found, where to look for this, what your body's trying to protect you from, so that you know how to clear it and get the life that you want, get healthy and happy and whole. So when I was the first key is your body could be protecting you from from a physical thing. So the body's really smart. It knows what's important, and it knows how to protect it. Things like the heart is very important. The brain is very important, much more important than, say, a little hair or a fingernail or a muscle. A muscle is important, but it's not as important as a heart. And when I first got into this work back in 2000, I've been doing this work for 34 years, but in 2000, I worked with a medical intuitive, Sharon Giammatteo. And at the time, I had a significant problem. I couldn't run, and I've been running my whole life. I couldn't run, and I had a spasm that kept happening in my leg, and I went to many different people. I actually had a clinic in San Diego, and my therapist worked on me, and I got orthotics and got other orthotics and kept trying to fix it, and it wouldn't fix. And it had gone on for 8 months where I couldn't run more than 5 minutes. I finally went to a therapist using this medical intuitive type work, and she put one hand on my foot and said, "You have a problem with your arteries and your heart." And so she worked on my arteries and heart for 2 hours, and 2 days later I went for a run to try it, and it worked. I was back to running, and it never came back. What's interesting is, as I got into this work and did more and more of this medical intuitive type work and kept getting worked on, and also worked on myself, my teeth no longer had cavities. From age 12 to age 37, I had cavities and problems my entire life. Every 6 months I had a problem. But my teeth were no longer having cavities, and now for the past, I guess it's 23 years, I haven't had any cavities or any dental problems. What's also cool is, as I kept working on these physical things that my body was protecting me from, I no longer had anxiety. I had this very long-standing problem with anxiety, and severe anxiety, and a very severe sweating problem. And as I got clear of these physical conditions that were in my way, what my body was protecting me from, I no longer had anxiety. So the first thing that could be causing problems, especially health problems, but also things that could be thought of as mental health problems and behavioral problems, the anxiety and the depressions and things, could very well be your body's protecting you from something very important. It's kind of like if somebody could reach inside your body and scratch your heart or scratch your big artery that comes out of your heart, your aorta. If you could do that, it would make you kind of nervous, right? Kind of anxious. And so a restriction or a problem in that artery could be a cause of some issues like anxiety. So the trick is to find out if that's the case. Now, the second key is of why somebody might not be thriving, a health thing, life's just not going very well kind of thing, depression kind of thing. What another thing that could be is it could be a toxic issue. So your body might be protecting you from a toxin. I had a client years ago who actually saw over the phone. I do energetic work over the phone as well. And she had a severe condition called ulcerative colitis, and she was actually bleeding. So her elimination was very compromised, and she had a big problem. And we were working on a lot of things, and we were shifting things, and we helped her nutrition, and she was getting better, but she was still having some problems. And then we found that she was sleeping with her cell phone right by her head, and she had it on all night, and she was sleeping with a lot of Wi-Fi around her, and we shifted that. And when she turned off her cell phone and turned off the nighttime Wi-Fi, she didn't have that problem anymore. So a physical condition could be caused by a toxin. I had a woman with 20 years of chronic pain who thought she was gluten-free, but when I checked her out, I can see things and feel things. She was getting a little bit of gluten. And after trying to figure it out for a long, long time, we found out that once a week she was going in and getting communion at church. And so when she shifted to a gluten-free wafer, 20 years of pain went away. So it could be a toxin that's causing a health concern, something just that you just change, and then your body doesn't have to protect you from it. Isn't that cool? My own story, beyond the medical intuitive work, I got very sick many years later, back in 2011, and I couldn't run again, and I was getting severe bone pain and a very severe depression, really strong depression. And it wasn't just because I couldn't run. I was really depressed. And we had just had been, and I hadn't run for quite a few months. And I literally was being told by practitioners that it looked like I might have something really, really serious, like make sure you're not dying. And my wife and I even talked about, like, what are we going to do if you're dying? And I even thought of just leaving and kind of coming up to the Pacific Northwest by myself and running away, basically, and dying somewhere. What I found was I was drinking water that San Diego started putting fluoride in the water. And when we got filters to filter that out, and then got spring water for me to drink, I no longer had that problem. And I actually found a remedy that cleared out the fluoride, and I was back to running. After finding that, it took me 3 days to get back to running. So the second key to why somebody's not doing well in life could be a toxin, and it could be causing all sorts of things that feel like depression, that are depression, feel like bone pain, feel like a chronic medical condition. It could be a toxin. The third key is, and the part that interests me a lot is, they all interest me, but third thing could be a spiritual pain. So years ago up here, we had moved up here to get away from the fluoride and move up here to the Pacific Northwest and have well water and live out here. I had a client, and she had found me because her therapist said, come see this guy. She was visiting the area, and her therapist had found me. And she had 2 years of neck, back, and headaches. And they weren't going away after a car wreck. And so I checked her out and saw things. I can feel things. And I saw deep grief, sadness in her lungs. And so there was a technique that I used to clear it, to let it go, of this deep grief and sadness. And we checked her again in her neck and her head, and everything was feeling better. And she asked me the second or third session, she's like, what are you doing? Because this is actually working after 2 years. And I told her what I found. And that's when she told me that she had lost 2 family members, very, very close family members, really not good stuff that had happened. And so then it made sense that what she was protecting herself from. The body will do a lot to protect somebody from a deep spiritual pain like that. It was actually her children that she lost. And so on her last day, she told me that she, actually, no, I think it was either the last day or when I emailed her a few months later, and she was still doing fine. And she said she thinks the reason she had the car wreck and found me was to let go of this grief. And so that's how cool this world can be. It's like your body can be protecting you from a very deep pain, but it can also lead you to what you really need for healing, even if it is a car wreck, and then fixing the deep grief, and then letting go of all that, and then getting rid of your headaches and your neck pain and your back pain. With myself, after we moved up here, we moved into this house, and we actually started getting sick again. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And what we found over that year, we had to actually sleep outside out here in the Northwest for a year, which was crazy. But I was so mad. And what I realized, because Jen told me, you got to get happy. You got to get happy. This isn't working. You know, it's like I was just so upset. And what it was that there was a victim pattern. And if you looked at my family history, you would say, oh, no wonder, look at how your dad was. And look at what happened to you guys back then. And there was an attacking us kind of thing feeling going on back then. And without going into that story, basically I was running a victim pattern. And so my body and my being were keeping a certain pattern going and protecting me somehow. It didn't feel like protection, but it was something that it was like it really wanted me to let go of this victim pattern. And so I learned how to clear that. And so the thing is, once you find and clear whatever it is your body's protecting, you can actually heal on all levels. The physical and also the deep inner stuff, the deep inner game stuff, the stuff that's been in the way of you getting the life that you want. So you can be healthy and happy and whole. And so the real reason, that's what you really want to go for, right? You want to get to like, what's this really about? Because when you can clear that, you don't have to keep just trying to mask symptoms or just feel a little more calm or somehow take something that makes you not have to deal with the pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. Your body really does want to heal. And the thing is, it's trying really hard to do this. And once you're clear of whatever that is that's been slowing you down or standing in your way or stopping you, you can heal and you can get the life you want on all levels, your health, but also your love and your money and your happiness. And so that's what I want for you guys. My name is Ralph Havens, and I've been helping people solve these kind of things for 34 years. And in 2000 is when I took a big shift and started doing it with a lot of medical intuitive work. And over the years, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my training to do this. And I've solved a lot of things for myself and for my family and for clients over the last 34 years. Now, if you knew what it was and how to fix it, I've got to ask you, would it be worth a little of your time to do it, to solve whatever that is that your body's protecting you from? Because if it is, I've got something for you, and it's free. I want to tell you about it. But it is something that would take a little time. And so it's a commitment, and it would be really cool if you want to commit and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. Ralph's going to give me this thing for free, and I want to try it and do this thing. Because there's something else I found along the way as I was building our life back up out here, and we had solved so many of these deep core things that my body was protecting me from. We found something, and we were building our life back up and our work and getting my work out to the world and healing on all sorts of levels and shifting deep stuff around things that were in the way of our thriving on all levels, including the money parts. And I found something. And when I first found it, I thought it was too simple. It was this meditation technique. It was a way to do something, to look inside and shift things. And I started doing it, and my wife actually told me, "What are you doing? Because this is actually working." And and what she meant by that was there was more and more people starting to find me over the internet, and people were coming and seeing me on YouTube and hiring me and buying my services and products and getting even bigger results. And I was showing my clients this thing that I want to give you, and it was making a huge difference, much faster than the other stuff. I actually had a client that came to see me here in Bellingham that had a problem with her foot. She was coming for a few other things, but couldn't touch her foot. 4 feet away from her foot, you couldn't get near it. There was an energetic, you could just feel it like a cushion of air. And she was just like, no, don't even touch my foot. And so we did this technique, this meditation that I want to give to you in a few minutes. And we did it for one day, one session, during a 1 hour session. And then she's like, I think you can touch it. And I said, well, let's check. And sure enough, no problem touching it. And it was like, no problem. The thing was, she was dealing with something that every day her foot would pop out. She would pop it, almost sprain it. She might fall. All sorts of stuff like that was going on. Ever since that day, it never popped out, never gave her problems. And she never sprained it again like that. So, and it was a deep inner thing that she was protecting. When you heard the story, it was like, oh, there had been a lot of trauma in the past around that foot. And I won't go into a lot of details about it, but it was understandable. But now she had cleared what her body was protecting her from, and she could walk on her foot again in a much better way. So this process I want to show you, it's a meditation, is something that shifted stuff for Jen and I for our abundance, for our money, and our ability to get our work out to the world. And I've been showing it to clients, and what my clients were saying is this is an old yoga technique, and this is an old Zen Buddhist technique. And then another guy told me it was the technique that Buddha used, or that he called it Vipassana. And then it's been called peace process, and letting go process, and living the question process, and what's happening in your body process. And it's been called many things, but I researched it, and it does look like Buddha used it. And it's very, very powerful if you use it in a specific way. And so I want to give it to you. You can have it today for free. And all I'm asking is that you commit to use it for 3 weeks. You can use it longer. Of course, I use it every day. But if you could commit to using it every day, 5, 10, 15 minutes, there's this very specific way to use it. And it's a more involved process that I'm not just going to tell you right now the whole thing, because it would be too short and you wouldn't quite get it. But I did make 2 PDFs and an entire hour-long video session using it with people, so you can really get how to do this. And if it's something that interests you, if you want to get to the deep core of the deep inner game stuff that could be slowing you down or standing in your way or stopping you from getting what you want in life, whether it's a physical thing like that lady's foot, or a money thing like it was for, and business thing like for Jen and I, or it's been useful for all sorts of relationship things and other love things, and clearing a lot of the anxieties and the depressions. If you want that, then you can grab it and try it every day for 3 weeks and notice what changes for you, and let me know. So you can go to my website. There's a site, ralphhavens.com/enlighten-up. Now, I know many of you that follow me and watch this and know about the different energetic stuff that I do. You want a magic bullet, a miracle with me. You want to just, whatever you're dealing with, to just go away. And can you just make things better right now? And there is a hidden benefit to being with me on these calls. I do a Facebook Live almost every day and a YouTube show almost every day. There's a hidden benefit in that every time I interact with people with this work, with this energetic work, this matrix energetics and beyond, you could have a change simply from the chair you're sitting in right now. So you might notice what's different even after today, even after you get up today and walk around, and just notice if life is different, and if you feel different, if you move different. Because this is one of the benefits of being here with me for these sessions. And if you want something where you can do something very specific for yourself to get what your body and being is protecting you from, and start clearing what's in the way of you getting healthy and getting happy and getting whole, then go grab it. It's at ralphhavens.com/enlighten-up. And commit to doing it for every day for 3 weeks, and let me know what you notice, what's going on. So I hope you enjoyed this and got some cool benefit from it. If you liked it, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, comment about it, share it. Time is going by, whether we do something or not. And what I've found is if you can commit to doing this one meditation type thing and get a skill in doing it, it can make all the difference in the world. And so go ahead and go to your email. Look for my email once you sign up and get it. You enter your email and then I'll send it to you on email. But in order to get it, you're going to have to go to your inbox or your promo file and click confirm, and then you get the video, and you'll get a few videos and emails about it. So let me know what you think, and I will see you all very soon. All right, everybody, let's get out there and live. Let's really live.